Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm doing a video on clinical research. This is the second part of clinical research in which I will discuss about clinical research in India. Clinical research in India has grown in last decade or so, as we seen due to corona. In last 2-3 years, the pharmaceutical industries and the research areas established very well. It has several aims and objectives. It has been realized at various levels that if the nation were to grow scientifically in the field of clinical medicine, then clinical research holds the key. Several conditions favor growth of clinical research in India. Since India is a rapidly developing nation with special needs, we need to recognize that clinical research has to be done accordingly. General guidelines which is given by National Institute of Health for clinical research in developing nation are as follow. Conduct research relevant to local population. Develop research infrastructure to facilitate good research, for example, testing facilities and laboratories. Enhance training and create awareness among healthcare professionals and provide support, both logical and financial. There are several conditions which favor the Indian condition for clinical research. Conditions favoring clinical research in India are hospitals with excellent facilities, emerging pharmaceutical and biotechnological sector, large pool of English speaking patients and investigators. Fourth one is large patient population. Fifth, cost advantage compared to West, and strong information and technology sector providing technical backup for information and dissemination. Uh, Please focus on fifth point, which is cost advantage compared to West. In India, there is much less amount charged for medical facilities compared to West. However, the Indian conditions are not without challenges. Challenges facing clinical research in India is strengthened ethical review, regulatory environment, infrastructure, training and skill of health person, and awareness for clinical research in India. In India, people are lack of skills and training. Due to this is very hard to do clinical research in India, and also lack of awareness, lack of knowledge is a big problem for Indian research. Now the question is, why do clinical trials? So clinical research usually involve clinical trials. It is important to have an introductory overview of clinical trial. Clinical trials are highest form of experiment and are done when there are sufficient reason to do them. Therefore, it is vitally important that we have clear logic. Clinical trials are done to evaluate the efficacy of drug. They are uniformly accepted as gold standard evidence of efficacy of drug. Clinical trials hold enormous potential for benefiting patients, improving the therapeutic regimens, and ensuring advancement in medical practice that is evidence based. Clinical trials are generally done to show if one form of treatment is superior to the other. This is called as superiority trial. Likewise, if the experiment treatment is shown not worse than the standard treatment, this is called as non-inferiority trial. Most equivalence trials are bioequivalence trials. Now we discuss about the types of clinical trial in detail. The first one is superiority trial. These are the most common type of trial. Our aim is to invariably show that one treatment is superior to other. However, when we begin, we should not have any kind of bias and assume that both treatments are equal. That is, we believe in null hypothesis. Null hypothesis may or may not be rejected during the process. Convincing evidence of efficacy in a randomized double-blind, placebo-controlled manner has been considered to be the best evidence. This is also can be used for regulatory purposes as well. And the second one is non-inferiority trial. As per the terminology of the International Council of Harmonization (ICH), non-inferiority is a clinical trial designed to show that an experimental test is similar to a controlled treatment in a specified direction is a one-sided equivalence or similarity trial. Now, the last one is equivalence trial. This is an alternative of superiority trial and non-inferiority trial. Here, the aim is not to demonstrate the efficiency of one treatment over the other, but to show that the test treatment has equivalence efficiency. A standard comparator is used in these cases. Clinical endpoint in such studies may be effectiveness or safety or both. Investigator initiated research are simple form of equivalence trial in which a researcher tries to know if the new drug is equivalent to the standard or already established one. This could be done for an approved indication or for an off-label indication. An off-label indication means an unapproved indication. So, in the first type, superiority trial, I used a term placebo. Placebo is an inactive substance that look like the drug, but it is not drug. There is no therapeutic value of this. Placebo is just like a look-like of drug. It do not contain any chemical, do not have any therapeutic value, or do not have any side effects. It is mimicry of drug. Our India is home of 1 billion people with a large number of English speaking doctors and healthcare workers provide suitable environment for clinical research. However, being a developing nation has to guard the citizen against potential harm. ICMR has issued ethical guidelines for handling human subject in clinical research. There are 12 principles which is given by ICMR in 2006. The principles are as follow. First, principle of essentiality. This deals with the notion that the research in question is absolutely necessary for advancement of medical knowledge. Second, voluntary participations. Participants are told about the aim and objective of the research. Their participation is informed and fully voluntary. If the participants are unable to give consent, then the same can be given on their behalf if they are the legal guardian. Some principles are applied to community at large. Third, non-exploitation. Participants fully appraise to all the possible danger and the harm that is said experiment may be associated, including physical and psychological both. Participant by the individual after reading and understanding them is needed. Participants are assured that in case if there is any harm arises of the experiment, they will fully be treated free of cost, compensated and rehabilitated. Fourth, confidentiality. The identity and privacy of the participant will be kept secret and their record shall be maintained confidentially. Fifth, risk minimization. This will ensure that medically qualified people will be doing research and every possible attempt will be made so that there is no harm to the participant at any stage of research. Sixth, principle of competence. Individual with high integrity will be doing research and this will be maintained all the time. 7. Transparency and accountability. This will ensure that individuals involved in conducting research will maintain a thorough record of data and note of the research involving human. This will fulfill post-research monitoring requirement as well. Records will remain available for the security of legal authority as well. 8. Principle of social justice. The result of research will be distributed evenly throughout without discrimination. Ninth, institutional agreement. This means all agreements between the institutional regarding the cooperation involving medical research will be preserved and achieved. 10th, public domain. Work done in clinical research could be kept under public domain. This applies particularly to the clinical trial where maintaining a website is important. Result of clinical trial must be made available via scientific publication. 11th, total responsibility. One should take total responsibility of observing all rules and regulation involving the research on human subject. Likewise, the research funding must be available to total scrutiny so that anyone who has the interest in knowing the detail should be furnished with the same. That means it should be available for review. 12th and the last is compliance. Everyone involved in conduct of medical research shall ensure that all the rules and regulations involving the same will be totally observed in letter and spirit. That's all about today. Thank you so much.